Welcome back. This is the third video of the playlist titled Python Beginner Boost, and in the last video we have learned about variables, data types, type conversion and dynamic typing in Python, and in this video we will learn about operator and expression. And before starting the video, I would like to request you to please subscribe to my YouTube channel and share the playlist with your friends so they can also take advantage of this playlist. So now let's start with operators and expressions. So operators and expressions play a vital role in performing various operations in Python or in any programming language. They allows you to manipulate variables, compare values, perform arithmetic calculation and more. In this video, we will explore different type of operator. As you can see on the screen, there are arithmetic operators, comparison operator, logical operator, assignment operator, and also we will learn about expressions in Python. So let's start with arithmetic operators. So operator helps us to do some calculation in our Python code, calculation, comparison, etc. in our Python code. Let's create two variables and learn about arithmetic operator. And if you don't know how to create variables in Python, then you can check out my last video which is on the same subject. So let's create a variable called first underscore number and give a value, the value 10, and let's create second number and let's give it the value 5. So here we are learning about arithmetic operators, and the first operator will be sum. How we will do the sum of two numbers? So for that, let's create a variable and then try to store the sum of those two numbers in the third variable, and then we will print the sum. So sum underscore result equals to first sum plus second underscore sum. So by doing that, we will be able to store the sum of first number and second number into the variable named sum result. Now let's try to print sum underscore result on the screen. Let's save the code and bring our terminal from here. Click new terminal, and here we will write the Python 3 and the name of the file, which is operators .py, and after executing this code we will see 10 plus 5 which is equals to 15. Let's click on or press enter key and you will see I am getting some error. Let's try to resolve those error. So first sum plus second sum, first num, I have written sum, so that's the issue. I am speaking something and writing something else. Now let's try to execute the code and you will see 15 is printed on the screen. Let's try to print subtraction, division, multiplication along with modulus and exponent. So let me just bring the complete code from my notes. So here you can see I have pasted the code. So for calculating the difference, you have to use the minus operator. For calculating the multiplication, you have to use the multiplication operator. For calculating division, you have to use the slash or division operator. For calculating the remainder of division, you can use the percentage sign, which is modulo operator. And if you need to calculate the power of any number, then you need to use multiplication operator 2 times. Let me also rename this variable as x and y, so we will remove these errors. So these are showing us a warning because we had not created this variable. So let me remove this along with this. Now let's try to print all of them. So I will do one thing, right, print, and then the first one is difference result. Let's save the code and execute it from here, and you can see 10 minus 5 is 15. Let's do it for all of them. So the third variable is, let me go, third is product result. Let me copy it and paste it here. Product result, then here it will be division result, then modulo, which is calculating remainder, and the last is exponential, which is to calculate the power of any number. Exponential result. Let me remove this, save the code, and let's execute the code from here. And you can see, let me clear the console, and now let's again execute the code and we will match all the values. So first of all, 15 is printed, which is x plus y. X contains 10 and y contains 5. So 10 plus 5 is 15. Then 10 minus 5, which is 5. 10 into 5, which is 50. 10 divided by 5, which is 2. And then the modulus. So if we divide 10 by 5, we will not get any remainder. That's why 0 is printed. And then 10 raised to the power 5, which is multiplying 10 5 times, which will give us 1 lakh. So that's why these values are printed on the screen. Now let's learn about second type of operator, which is comparison operators. So for that, we will do one thing. We will use the same variables, and now let's learn about the first comparison operator, which is to check if two numbers are equal or not. So let me name the variable as is equal, and if the two numbers are equal, then the value will be equals to true, and if the numbers are not equal, then the value will be false. So let's try to compare these numbers. So for comparing if the two numbers are equal or not, we have to use a double equal to and then the value. So I want to compare x and y. So if x and y are both equal, then it will be true, and if x and y are not equal, then it will be false. Let's try to print it on screen. So is equal, and let's execute our code, which is, and you will see false will printed on screen because x is 10 and y is 5. That's why false will be printed on the screen. As you can see, false is printed. Now let's try to learn about some more comparison operator, and I will try to bring them on screen from my notes. As you can see, so the first is equal, which we have already learned. Now the second is to check if two numbers are equal or not. So if we need to check two numbers are equal or not, then we will use the name of the variable, which are x and y, and in between that we will use exclamatory mark along with equal to. Then we will be able to check if both the numbers are equal or not. So if I print the name of the variable, which is not equal. So you already know that the value of x is 10 and the value of y is 5. So 10 is not equal to 5, which is true. That's why this variable will contain the value true, and true will be printed on the screen. So after this false, you will see true will be printed on screen. Let me clear the console, and let's execute the code once again, and you can see true is printed. Similarly, we can check for if a number is greater than another number, if a number is less than another number, if the number is greater than or equal to another number, or if a number is less than or equal. And we have to use the operator for greater than, less than, greater than, equal to, less than, equal to. Now let's go to the next part, which is let me go above. The next is logical operators. So if we need to combine multiple comparison, then we can use logical operator. Logical operators are used to combine multiple condition and evaluate their truthfulness. There are three logical operators in Python. The first is AND, second is OR, and the third is NOT. AND returns true if both the the comparison operators return true, and it returns, the second one is OR, which returns true if any one of them is true, and the NOT will do the inverse of that. So let's create some variables, which is I, J, and K. Let's give some values. Here I will give 10. The second value will be 5, and the third value will be 6. Now if we need to check, like let me explain you. let's create a variable for that. So we are learning about logical underscore and we need to check if I is greater than j, I is greater than j, and I is also greater than k. So here we are trying to check if the value of I is greater than j and also the value of I is greater than k. So here you can see I is storing the value 10, j is storing the value 5, and k is storing the value 6. So 10 is greater than 5, it is true. 10 is greater than 6, it is also true. And if both the results are true, then this AND operator will give us true. So let's print the output logical and let's save it and execute the code. And you can see true is printed because here the value of I is 10, the value of j is 5, and the value of k is 6. If I like change the value of I to 1 and now try to execute the code, then it will print false because I is 1 and j is 5. 1 is greater than 5, it is false. So the value of this will become false. And again here I is greater than k, where 1 is greater than 6, which will also become false, and the false and false will again be false. Let's execute the code. As you can see, false is printed on the screen. Similarly, there we can use OR operator. Let me just replace it with OR. So if any of the one condition is true, then it will return true. So let me make the condition as 10 and let me make it 11. So here you can see 10 is greater than 5, which is true, and 10 is greater than 11, which is false. So only one condition true and the other is false. So it will return true because one condition is true. Let me execute the code, and now you will see on place of false, true will be printed. Let's execute it, and you can see true is printed. And now if we want to do not or negation, or it means inverse of anything, then we can do it using not operator. So whatever we are trying to print on the screen, we want to do the opposite of it, then we can use not. So as you can see, we are getting true, and if we want to change it, we can use the not. And let me complete the bracket, and here we are getting error because Python is case sensitive language. We need to use n as small. Let's execute the code, and now you will see false will be printed on the last line. Here you can see false is printed. So we have learned about arithmetic operators, comparison operators, logical operators. Now let's try to learn about assignment operator. So whenever you want to do some calculation while assigning the value to a variable, then assignment operators come into the picture. Let's create one variable, my number, and we want to do a calculation while creating the variable, then we can do it. So let me just use my number. Here it is storing the value 5. Let's try to print it, and you will see my number is printed on the screen. And let's execute the code. So you can see 5 is printed. And after executing this 48 line, if we try to print my number again, then it will store a 10 because 5 plus 5 is 10. Let's execute it. Here you can see 10 is printed. So if you want to do calculation while assigning the value to the variable, then you can use assignment operator. We can also use other operators like minus, multiplication, division, etc. As you can see, I have replaced the plus with minus. So my number is already storing 5, and we need to subtract 5 from it, then it will give us 0. Let's execute. The 5 and 0 will be printed on the screen. Let's execute it, and you can see 0 is printed. So we have learned about arithmetic operators, comparison operator, logical operator, and the assignment operator. Now let's learn about expressions. So expression are combination of operators and operands that produces a value. Python follows a specific order of precedence for evaluating expression. Let's try to create one expression. So suppose here I have created one variable called result. I hope I haven't created this variable before in this file, else it will give me an error. So I want to do some calculation here, like I want to multiply x with 5, and then I want to add I to it, then I want to subtract j from it, and after that, after doing all this calculation, now I want to print result. Let's save it. So let me go to the top and let's execute the code. As you can see, 55 is printed. So how it is working? So if we go to the top, the value of x is 5, x is 10, and y is 5. 10 into 5 is 15. After that, we are doing some addition of I. The value of I is 10. So 50 plus 10 will become 60, and then we are subtracting j, which is the value of j is 5. 60 minus 5 is 55. That's how the calculation is done on this code. So that's it in this video. It is a long video, so watch it again and share with your friends and subscribe to my YouTube